Okay. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Think we good. Got audio. All right. So we good to go. We're just gonna give some people some time to get into the live feed. And so we could do this, man. It's a beautiful day out here in New York. I went to the park, got a little workout, so I'm feeling good. How is the weather out there in Vegas, brother?
Hey, peace, Chief. How are you doing? It's
Man.
great.
All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, people's peace, love, and light to each and every one of you. Once again, this is Chief Kalinago with another live video. Just moving forward, man, staying on a positive note, staying continuing this high vibration, you know what I'm saying? And I'm here with my brother Chief Holiday, and I know Autochthonous One is gonna join us. I have never, met any of the brothers in person. However, I have been talking to Chief Holiday, over via the internet and phone for a while. So we've been building for a minute. Autochthonous One I've never interacted with. So I'm looking forward to building and talking to the brothers. So once again, Chief, I appreciate you, man, and thank you for coming on today. I know in light of what we're doing, for we the Aborigines, aka the American Indians, we tend to get a little busy. And of course, apart from all the negative distractions, we kind of have our hands full. But thanks for taking the time. All right. Hey. That's fine, brother. That's fine. That's fine. Just do your thing, Aboriginal Lone Wolf. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. I know, you're on the grind right now. Omar D, peace, love, and light. All right. I think we kind of, I'm not sure if we lost Chief Holiday, but I'm certainly sure he will chime back in. He has the information. So once again, hope everybody's having a great day. And wherever you are, okay, whether you are in the Americas or wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you are in great spirits. Always remember that, whatever mood that we're in, it's always a matter of choice. Always remember that, okay? You are the one who have to be and stay in control of your own life. And what I've realized is that a lot of people allow other people to influence them so much as to really take them to a far edge, you see, on a negative spree. And that's very detrimental to your spiritual being. So always stay in control, okay? Never allow anyone to come into your space and make you a slave to their energy, all right? So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I see we got Chief Holidays back. So I was just saying, brother, I know we tend to get busy with what we do, but once again, I thank you for taking the time to come on the live today. So what's going on your part of the country right now? Okay, I see Chief Holiday is here, but I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I was on mute. Yeah, man. Peace, brother. Hey, as usual, man. Peace and love to all American Aborigines. It's beautiful. It's hot out here right now. We probably up in close to 100 already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you could say that's nice. So other than that, man, everything's good, man. How about yourself, brother?
Man, can't complain. Can't complain. Can't complain. Just staying positive. It's important that what we are doing, we have to set an example. Okay, we have to set an example because I feel, for me personally, my opinion is this: there's too much negativity in the world today. Our people are going through too much, so much pain and so much hurt. And for me to add more pain and hurt by being negative is not helping the situation. I mean, we have enough enemies already. Why do we feud amongst each other? We don't need to be our own enemy. So for me, I would rather create peace and harmony and stay walking within the light opposed to stepping into the darkness and allowing negativity to overcome my spirit. So that's just my mindset on that. I see we have the Autochthonous One. Hey, brother, peace and love. Welcome. We never had a chance to build before, but I appreciate you taking the time to come on the call today. So tell the audience about you. I'm not sure. I built with Chief Holiday before, but we never had a chance to build. So give me an introduction, introduce yourself, let the people know where you are, what you're doing, and just pretty much your state of mind.
Peace, my brother. Peace. How you doing, my brother? I always see you and I respect you. I love your energy, man. You know what I'm saying? I see it's a little negativity, but you know what I'm saying? Hopefully them things are past, man. We can keep on moving because we
Yes.
definitely don't need that, man. But as far as me, I don't know, man. Like I've been doing it for a minute. I came through. I was under the Moorish doctrine. I wasn't actually Moor, but I was moving, far as some of the legalese, and I was definitely a firm student of that. I also by a brother named Taza Doc, which used to go by the name of the Mighty Sovereign. He's a Hebrew Israelite animal. You know what I'm saying? So, I studied a lot of these brothers, man, and I was like intrigued. It was more of trying to just get freedom, man, because at first we all just want to be free, man.
Right.
Don't nobody want to be a slave. We want to be free. And that's what it was always with me, man. I just wanted to be free, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if I can win freedom by watching these videos or by learning or deriving information, then this is what to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like anything else in life. You want to study something so you can get past this step or get past to the next level. You gotta be a student of it. So I've been to it. And if you hear this noise, sorry about that. That's my computer, man. I gotta get it.
It's okay.
But yeah, let me mute it for a minute to go off. Let me let you talk.
Okay. All right.
Hey.
So Chief Holiday, so I'm assuming that you have already built with Autochthonous One, right? Because like I said, I've never spoken to him. A few people actually told me about him, but we never really had a chance to build. So I assume that you know the brother personally, or you've just been building with him via the internet.
Well, we've been building on the internet as well as off the internet, for over 6 months now. But we do a show on Sundays called the Sunday Build. You know what I'm saying? So we do that, and then every once in a while we might do some other live shows. But yeah, that's it. And the brother's been doing a lot of research. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of just level, our energies basically, I guess, kind of move together, man. And we've been kind of teaming up and doing putting in the work, you know what I'm saying? But what I wanted, what you said earlier, that we had to be examples, right? So one thing that I've been wanting to push, and I want you and everybody else to be a part of it, is called the Peace Treaty Initiative, right? And if and not just for being online, conducting ourselves better amongst each other, talking to each other better, not participating in the beef videos and all that stuff, right? But that, and once we do that, then we can take this same program to the streets. You know what I'm saying? To go into the streets and say, okay, listen, man, what can we do to stop the violence in the community so we can start building? Because nobody wants to come into the community and if it's crime and all this type of stuff. So one thing that we can do is we stop killing each other, and we need a peace treaty amongst all American Aborigines across the board. So that's kind of what I'm pushing, man. Just and want to use the hip hop, business and the artists to be able to help push this peace treaty initiative. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay. That sounds good. That sounds good. So let me ask you, both you guys, a question, and you guys could give me your perspective individually. We're not going to call any names, but we do know where I'm going with this. Okay, there's this individual, and again, we're not going to call any names because we don't want to change the dynamics of what we are doing. We want to keep it positive, but still, we have to deal with situations in order for us to move forward. Okay, now, what do you think is the stem or the root? Why do you think there's so much negativity coming from this particular individual and the people who are gravitating to the information that he's putting out? What do you think is the root of all that? My thing is this: if we have any type of disagreement among us as men, especially men who call themselves Aborigine, shouldn't we be able to deal with that in-house? Why do you think it was taken to such an extent where it brought so much negative attention, and where we are in the situation that we're in right now? Because the reason why we are here today is because of that situation happened. And we all realize that, you know what, we don't want to be a part of that negativity that that individual is bringing. So what do you think is the root of all that, and why are they, you know, promoting that type of anger, that type of hate, that type of animosity when we should be building? And Autochthonous One, you could go first on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't, honestly, I mean, real talk, I really don't have no beef with nobody that's pushing anything. You know what I'm saying? If anybody mentioned my name, you know what I'm saying, I really haven't heard nothing. I do talk about that I study under Moors. So I don't know if people be taking shots at me for that. Maybe they do. I don't tell nobody that they Moors. My is about Aborigines.
Right.
Tell nobody. I just telling you where the information that I got came from. And my shit go long. I mean, excuse my language. My information go long.
Right.
So if I got some of the information from some of them, other people had to get it from them too, because everyone was not talking about this. And I can go down a line of everyone who was talking about this, all the way to Ivan Van Sertim, all the way to Bobby Hemmett, all the way to the Queen of the Washington tour. You know what I'm saying? The Empress. I can go all the way down a line and tell you where I've heard this from prior to this. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, like, you know, it's what it is the same thing like the conscious community got, where people got ideologies and different beliefs, and people seem to people seem to like not agree with your belief system or what you like. You listen, we all got the same belief. We believe we indigenous to this land.
Right.
And that's where we all come together. So now, whether some of the roles that we took to get here, or under some of the different understandings or school of thoughts that we took to get here, somebody could have came to the Bible and understood that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't honestly, man, I believe that's what it is, man, because everybody don't have the same belief. And that's why when I make my videos, I tell people, man, that you could have been an indentured servant, or you could have been a POW. You could have been the one that was whipping the Aborigines, or the one that was POW. So it go both ways.
True.
You got people in the same community that might be of that bloodline.
Right. True.
Of the Uncle Ruckus, or the, you know what I'm saying, of that bloodline. So you don't know who's who. When people do their ancestry, people finding out that they have free men and people own all this land, and they don't know what type of situations these was, man. So like I said, you know, we don't know who's who. Look, I'm here to just teach the history, and I do my personal I do a thing similar to like what I see you do with the penny, and how you go around and enlighten people. You know, I do that all the time, bro. I do, and I see how you do that, and that's wonderful, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Real talk. That's how you. Listen, bro. That's a simple way to show people.
I appreciate that.
That's a simple way to show somebody where people won't understand. You know what I'm saying? And even like how you having, like, you know, I got a documentary that I'm trying to bring out, man. You know what I'm saying? And I talked to Chief about it or whatever, and it's pretty similar to that. Talking to people, asking them about some of the stories they heard about them being Aborigines or certain tribes, or you know what I'm saying? Because even with the tribes, we still finding out. You know, people thought Cherokee was the tribe, find out it's a language, and there's a lot of other things that, you know what I'm saying, that people is kind of unclear on as we engage into this information. You know what I'm saying? Because we still kind of looking at it. Most people haven't engaged with it fully. You understand what I'm saying? When I say engage in it fully, most people can just say, all right, it was black people here. What do you mean? Let's go deeper with it. Let's go to the the deeper understandings, even right now to political today. Even go back to the Alabama so-called senator that called us aborigines. You understand what I'm saying? See, I remember the brothers who was putting them videos up. You know what I'm saying? There was a brother named Thousand Go Ahead and Tyrone Street. These brothers used to always put these videos up. You know what I'm saying? They was putting the videos about 60 minutes and the DNA. They was doing that shit like 6-7 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of information we adding on to what other people enlightened us on.
Right, true.
So you know what I'm saying? We adding on to it, but what it is everybody contributing to it. It's not just one person saying, well, all right, well, we just got this shit from the East. Some people do. Some people do got ancestry pulling on. They got people from the ethers that's riding with them. I don't. I had to get my maybe, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Because understand something, even like for a lot of people to be conscious, man, it's hard, bro. You know what I mean? Friends I don't have, you know what I mean? People can't. I switch it up because I have some type of personal, professional life that I have to engage in sometimes.
Right. True.
But most 80%, I'm an Aborigine.
Right.
You know
True.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So for the other 20%, it's kind of like people kind of don't understand. So you can't really engage every situation with that. But for the most part, if I run past and I see a brother, a sister, like, yo, where you from? You from the Caribbean? Where you from? You from America? Where from, you know, where you from?
Right. True,
now
true.
I ask people where they from. You know what I'm saying? I never used to do that. But you know, like I said, man, if what I do is this, man, I just keep doing research. I had to stop because I actually went back to another one of these European institutions to go back and get another one of their degrees. We know how that works.
Right.
But, you know, I'm just doing it for the hell of it or whatever. But nonetheless, though, I've been kind of tied up. I haven't been able to put a lot of information out there, but I got plenty of work that's about to be done. And I'm just gonna keep going from there, man. And
all right, sounds good.
You know, but check it out though. One more thing, right?
Yeah.
If people got any negative feelings just because people mention certain schools of thought, like you gotta go by what is the brother teaching? Is the brother telling you to become this, or the brother telling you gotta really understand where people coming from? So with that,
Right, true. I appreciate that. Thank you for that information. Chief Holiday, yeah, what's your take on that? What do you think? You know, I mean, stems all this negativity. It's like I said, especially from certain individuals that just don't want to make peace at all. Do you think it's genetic, or do you think it's just an envy thing? Do you think it's sort of like momentous? It is a phase that they're going through, and hopefully soon enough they will get over that. Or do you think those things are just the genetic traits that people literally come here to cause confusion to prevent us from moving forward? What's your take on that?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, when you know, I hate to be in the middle of two of your brothers or your sister and one of your brothers fighting, or two of your sisters fighting. So it puts you in a weird position, and all you could do is try to advise both parties. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, you know, and but here's the thing that you said that was key. That I said from the beginning. If me and anybody have a personal issue, it should just be left, you know, in house, and it's personal. We should take these issues outside into the public, which is going to cause a split in the community, because some people, you know, can't handle, I guess, differences of opinions, and some people like to get and join cliques and all these little challenges that we're not trying to do. We're trying to build bridges. We're trying to find what we have in common. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna have these type of things, and hopefully we can learn from this, and it won't happen again. You know what I'm saying? So for, you know, if me and the Autochthonous One have a personal issue, we shouldn't start making videos about each other. Men don't do that.
Right.
We're not gonna make videos about. We're not gonna go back and forth, because, you know what I'm saying, because it hurts everything, and it just puts a bad light. Once again, that goes to like we said, the conscious community type of stuff or whatever. If they have a problem with each other, they'll make a video.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then they're gonna, and it starts contention. But with us, we don't want this type of contention because it's splitting, splitting us up. And now I'm getting I'm getting, messages and stuff this morning from the other side, like, oh, I see you guys have a civil war. You guys let Lex Vortex come in. But listen, y'all, I thought we were supposed to be out here converting Pan-Africans and people who weren't on this consciousness, right? And you're going to get that. So a lot of times you get people as Aborigines, they feel like it's a cult. And they say, oh, you guys are bringing new people and we don't like them and all these other things. And come on, man, we need everybody. We need all hands on deck.
Yes, indeed.
I take everybody at face value. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you say at face value. You know what I mean? So, I don't think we should get into the personal stuff.
Right.
But unfortunately, it does happen. And like I said, hopefully we can move past this. And that's upbringing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and this brother was sitting back like, yo, I wouldn't do nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And he has seen how I moved in other situations, and I broke apart from people or whatever, and I didn't go make videos. I didn't go start trying to act them out because I'm in my feelings. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? So but it's another thing too. That's a flip side of this though. Now you said something earlier that our people are hurting. We are in pain, and it's hard for us to trust. So I feel like a lot of people trusted you. You know what I'm saying? And they might have got their feelings hurt. So people that's mad, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's up to us as their bigger brothers, their older brothers, as their teacher, to be more patient. You know what I'm saying? And to love them. You know what I mean? And you're doing a good job, bro. Loving on the brother, man, and people that coming at you. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just the thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a great thing. And like I said, we're just gonna keep pushing peace, man, and real gonna.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you said that. Now, with that being said, I have a question for either of you guys, and anybody could go first. It doesn't matter. Now, everybody thinks that we are, or we should just come together and everybody sing Kumbaya. Now, let me ask you a question. Realistically, right? Do you really think that every single one of us could come together and sing Kumbaya? I mean, let's be real. Do you think that this type of universe, not universe, but this type of dimension, the third dimension where there's duality, where there's good and evil, that's always going to exist on Earth? Do you think we all will come together and sing Kumbaya? Or, as we know, metaphysically speaking, that some people came to cause confusion and chaos? Do you believe in that? Or do you think that we could all come together and do the Kumbaya thing? Anybody could go.
Well, I mean, I think it's, can y'all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nah, it's never gonna happen. It ain't never happened before. It's just you gonna have to find people with commonalities. No one is listen, we too separated by too many people with different ideologies, man. It ain't even just belief systems. Some of it is social status as far as economics and as far as, you know what I'm saying, or what's your economical status in which people determine how they should be separated. So my practice is, because I might be a vegan and I might have a garden or something, eating natural, I might not be living like other people, and some people might spite you on that case. But as far as in this community, it's not going to work like that. I never assumed all the Aborigines to come together. That's why, honestly, I pretty much keep my distance from a lot of people, because it's me, Chief, and I fuck with Chief. I mean, and I'm cool with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Right. As far as that, I go. If Lex Vortex asked me to come on there, I come on there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whatever his situation is with the particular individuals, they're gonna have to iron that out. You know what I'm saying? True. That's how it's gonna have to be eventually. You understand? I mean, it's gonna have to like what is the end result to this, man?
Right. True.
No one grabbed your mother up or called your mother a B or spit in your mother's face. I know people who got real beefs, man. Right. Not over no different ideologies or some shit that you can't, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, I don't even pay no attention to that shit no more, man. Excuse me. I know the profanity. Sorry about that, but nonetheless, though, man. I know people who got real issues and real situations where it's life to life situations, and people is really not playing, man. as far as we put some information where people can learn and find their true identity or connect themselves back to their heritage. Like, so I don't like everything else outside of that. I really don't care. I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, bro, that's what it is to me. I doing the work. What I'm gonna say? I'm mad because you out there, you shining and you doing your thing. Like at the end of the day, what is this about? What is it about? What is it about? Is it about, oh, I'm mad at him or I'm gonna do nah? I'm just gonna keep teaching and keep moving on. I ain't got time to make no videos about nobody because I got so much information and so much research to put out.
Right.
You know,
definitely. And once again, peace to Lex Vortex, you know what I mean? Because like I said, people have sent me a few videos of the brother, and that's why I actually went on his platform, because I see that he was the one also pushing peace and trying to stay calm. But a lot of times when people push you over the board, sometimes you have to step up and defend yourself. That's just one of the first rule of nature is self-preservation. You know what I mean?
Let me put you on something, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm cool with everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? The people in my chat, and people come in, be trolling. I be, it's times where I get into my, you know what I'm saying, my nigga mode. But for the most part, I pretty much shake all that off, because I know when you putting yourself out there and you putting information out there, you want to be subjected to certain individuals. Yeah. Some individuals going to gravitate towards you, some not. That's well expected. You know what I'm saying? That's well expected. So what I understand about this is that, like, you got people who will bait you to say or do certain things. I'm from the hood, so I already know how that roll. I'm not. You're not going to bait me. I control this beam. I'm not going to allow you to manipulate me into running under what you're trying to do. Now, like I said, I look, I study, I listen. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I can do to apply, because we all in different parts of the country. So when you over there working, I'm over here working, Chief working, the next person working, the next person working.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything outside of the personalities should be void, man. Like, you know, true. That's it. You know, so I use the mic, man.
All right, cool. So Chief Holiday, again, just to reiterate the question, do you think that we all, should come, well, not should, we all can come together and sing the Kumbaya? Or are we going to accept the reality that this is a duality, realm, and we are going to have good and bad and indifferent? Let's hope that the good ones come together. But do you really think that we all can come together and sing Kumbaya?
Well, I mean, as a student of history, history has told us that we've always had differences. We've always had tribalism. We've always had certain things, man. Or you always had competition. And it's nothing wrong with competition, y'all. It has to be, like, oh, you have a brother, so I'm gonna compete with my brother. You know what I'm saying? Let's just, so I think a lot of times people get friendly competition confused, and they take things a little too far, you know what I'm saying, with the egos. This just goes back to being ego. Because a lot of times, to humble yourself to somebody, to say, you know what, I was wrong for how I handled that, that takes your ego. That takes you to, tame your ego. I have a big ego, but my love for the people is stronger than my ego.
Right.
Now, me and Lex Vortex, shout out to Lex Vortex, we didn't see eye to eye at all. You know what I'm saying? But when this opportunity came up or whatever, and I thought, it's a good idea, to take the information, to cross the information over, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And, we can see what's been going on. It's the consciousness is more mainstream now. People are talking about it in all sectors of the community, just everywhere now, right? So the vibrations are getting out there. So that's what it was about. Now you got people that have issues with dude or whatever. So they're like, yo, you're standing next to these guys or whatever, because they have these belief systems that are different from theirs, right? And we all do have different things that we disagree with or whatever, but that's not going to say, oh, I'm not going to build with bro.sanchz One, or I'm not going to work with Lex. You know what I'm saying? And these things or whatever. It's not about me. It's not about my ego. It's about the people.
Absolutely.
And the same thing with Lex.
Right.
Lex deals with people that don't believe in the things that he believes in, right? But he still allows freedom of expression and speech or whatever, you know what I'm saying, through his platform. So I just, you know, people a lot of times, and y'all know that, let me use Sinetta, for instance, he wasn't doing that. Because you should know that you should have been on Sinetta's years ago. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So we understand that these people have been trying to suppress this information.
Right.
So like I said, and if these guys have been watching us and how hard we've been struggling this whole time, you know what I'm saying? When there wasn't a whole bunch of people teaching this. So, you know, you got a lot of Johnny come lately, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And they just like, I think it's just like you know, you see somebody at the top, you want to take them down.
Right. True.
Instead of, you know, you know, it can be a lot of us at the top. We can all help build. And that's what was going on. And ever since you guys had y'all little thing, it's just been the love ain't been there in the community. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of backbiting. There's been a lot of other things going on. And like I said, you know, as men, we have to take responsibility. And that's all I can say on that. We got to take responsibility.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And for me, like I always tell people, I could only speak for myself. You know, I hold myself responsible. I hold myself in high regards as to my own actions, because once again, like you said, you know, and just to embark on what you're saying, it's not about me, it's about the people. Yes, I could be good, but what about the 4 or 5 people that's around me? You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm happy that we as men, you know, we know that we are able to keep our egos in check and not let it, you know, precede, you know, the goal or, you know, what we're trying to achieve. So that's a beautiful thing. Someone asked, where do I get my feathers? I pretty much order my feathers from Amazon. So that's where I get it, just to answer your question. I'm Jamal. Now, let me ask you guys. A lot of people always ask me, because a lot of people are searching for their ancestry, their lineage, and they seem to be running into a roadblock. And we know the main reason for that is because of paper genocide. So what do you say to people that don't have, they feel in their spirit that they're American Aborigines, but they don't have their elders to tell them the true story, and they don't have any type of paperwork to prove it? Because again, they go back as far sometimes as the late 1800s, and we run into a roadblock because of the paper genocide. And it's like they kind of like stuck in limbo. Am I an Aborigine? Am I really African? And not that there's anything wrong with being African, but we are establishing who we are as the American Aborigines. So any one of you guys could take this. What do you say to these people that run into a stumbling block as to, what do I do? I'm lost. Okay, I can't get no information. It's bothering me. I can't sleep. Anybody could take that. What advice do you have for these people?
Yo, I ran into a lot of problems myself, right? But one thing you got to understand, right? If your people was here and you can prove your people was here, then that's one thing. Also the territory, also the last name. Where did your last name derive from? What state? Was it Virginia? Was it the Carolinas? Was it Georgia? Was it Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Chicago, maybe? Look, you have to really look and see where your people was from. That's the easiest part to do. Find out what territory they was on. And then once you find out what you can easily self-identify. That's what the whole the rights of the indigenous people is. I mean, if people believe it or people don't believe it, but if you want to have to do something at some point in time, what you just going to just like, you know, you're going to have to put someone on notice that you identifying yourself as this,
right?
You know, so that's what the most important part is, just finding the people who to put on notice that you self-identifying as this. You know what I'm saying? You have a right to self-identify, is especially if you're in the Caribbean or you're in North America, and you could tie your ancestors back to, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, they see in 1890, they birthed the records, man. See, they birthed the records in 1890. So the next was in 1910. Right. So I believe I think it was in 1910. So then after that, everything changed and they started putting color on the birth certificate because of the Racial Integrity Act. So you got to understand, like, all you got to do is find out what territory your people was on. That's it. Find out what territory your people was on. Find out, do your last name, both sides. Your mother, your father's mother, father, your mother's father, mother. Then you track it down that. Try to get the surnames of both people before they came together in the marriage. And that's your father's side, your mother's side. And then you can go from there. Because most people I know, they find that they sometimes Cherokee on both sides. Like, all right, let's say, for example, you got your father's mother and your father's father. Then you got your mother's mother and your mother's father. Some people, mother's father be Cherokee, and then on their father's side, his mother might be Cherokee. Then his father might be maybe Seminole or and then the other one might be Blackfoot. So it's on both sides of the family. You just gotta look.
Right.
It's on both sides. And in all cases, it be all four of our paternal grandparents. And people don't even know, but you know, like I said, there's other ways to do it. I don't try to discuss anything. I don't do it. People can email me, they got my email or whatever, but I really don't pull out, for some say. But nonetheless, though, yeah, there's ways you can self-identify. That's what the whole indigenous, you got a right to self-identify. I mean, you got people on these tribes, that's 132. I mean, however you say that fraction, you know what I'm saying, of an Indian.
Right.
And you got people who directly is straight Cherokee or Aniyawanyas. You know what I'm saying? You got people who straight that, who's nothing happening for. Right. So you can go back and really do your research, but people want you to do everything for you. And then that's the thing. If other people have to waste their time to go out their social life to try to find, because listen, man, I could be trying to, you know what I'm saying? I got other business that I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So if I got to take my time out of it, then I think that, you know what I'm saying, it might take a fee. Depending on how hard, how much I work. Because you gotta file stuff, you gotta type stuff, you gotta send stuff. So it's fees required, and that's why people go, you selling paper. No, I don't do that. But what I'm saying is there's a filing fee. That's what most attorneys charge you for, a filing fee.
Right.
They file the paperwork and they do all the legal and all the secretarial work that you're not willing to do.
True.
Today, man, you gotta really find out, like I said, the territory. You can track your mother's father, and then your mother's mother, father, you know, so on, and you can go all the way back.
Right, true.
Definitely. Can. That's pretty
cool. Okay, so Chief, what's your advice for such people, or do you just concur with everything that the brother said, or do you have anything to add?
With negative people, you mean?
No. I'm talking about the question that I just asked them in terms of, people who can't seem to go past a certain date in tracing their lineage, because we know of paper genocide. It's hard, and people are caught up in the middle. Well, I've gotten a lot of emails. Well, Chief, I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I don't have any family that know anything. So, what type of advice do you have for these people? Like, what do they do?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a renegade. And from all my research and everything that I've came into, that these tribes were made up from languages, they made them these tribes of these names of these tribes up. We didn't move like that. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, at some point, we have to make new history. We have to plant new roots. You know what I'm saying? You have to know who you are. You just have to know. And most of my stuff, man, like when I do research, I just find out stuff I already know. I just confirm stuff I already know. It's already in us. I already know who we are. You know what I'm saying? And so at some point, you're not going to find created things. If you don't find yourself on the Dolls Rose, it's because maybe, that the Dolls Rose is created by them. You see what I'm saying? So at some point, you're not going to have birth certificates. You're not going to have certain things because we didn't have those before they came here. We didn't have the system before they came. Have surnames before they came here. They didn't have surnames, but when they created the system, we had to create surnames. So we didn't get our names from them. These are just names that, you go in the register, because you have to because they invaded your land, and now they got these systems played, or they come to your house with census, brown paper bag tests, whatever, right, to start classifying people. So they were like, yo, we need a name. Oh, your name is John? Exactly. Okay, your whole family name is Johnson. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Your whole family name is Jackson. So it wasn't named after the slave masters, none of that shit. That's a lie. But they keep telling us all this inferior information, and that's what got us in this. You know what I'm saying? Because we are living in fear. We're living in this matrix of servitude, this matrix of fear. Now check this out, y'all. I seen Dr. Charlemagne the God, man. You know, I got to give Charlemagne some credit, you know, for the stuff that he tries to do, even from the platform that he's on, right? Well, he did an interview like 4 years ago with Childish Gambino, right? And this dude was this young guy, you know, he was just so, yo, we can't do this, and we're just so little and so blah blah blah. The white man, you know, he just wanted to be white. He just said he was like, yo, I want to be white because these things it's just better for white people. You know what I'm saying? He was just basically saying this shit. And I'm like, yo, so Charlamagne was like, yo, bro, that's just so defeatism. You know what I'm saying? It's like basically like somebody or these people perpetuating these stereotypes so they can reinforce it, or they're planting the seeds in us of inferiority. So that's what we have to talk about, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? What are we saying? And I go hard because people are dumb and stupid. That's all we at this point right now, because you know what I mean? Like a perfect example, you know, people smoke cigarettes. You be like, oh, on the package it says this is gonna kill you.
Right.
Like giving our money to other people and they're taking it outside the community, it's tearing down the community. We know it, but we still do it.
We still do it, right?
We still do it. We don't support. We see each other and say, instead of saying, yo, I want to support that brother, we try to find anything to tear each other down.
Right.
That was instilled in us. We didn't have those things, because if we did, we wouldn't have built all these magnificent things here in America that the rest of the world is living off of.
Exactly.
Now, they learned everything in reverse out of Africa. Civilization came out of Africa. But guess what? No, it's out of America. We have older civilization here that they got from us. So if you see a pyramid in Africa, it came from here.
Absolutely.
See how that work? Period.com. So we could talk about Kemet all day because it comes from here. We could talk about Angola all day because it comes from here. Everything comes from America. Language, religion, culture, everything. That's why we are the best. Music, drumming, everything comes from here. Building, we were the first builders.
Yeah.
So all these guys, man, your whole shit is blew up because y'all are basing your whole life off of a debunked fucking theory of out of Africa. It has been debunked, or the theory of evolution has been debunked. I mean, I don't know how many more times. So you're living in a fake fantasy land, and you're living in a fear of these people because, bro, I seen somebody say something in the chat room the other day. It was just crazy to me. A grown ass man gonna say he gets the shakes when he see crackers. I was like, yo, would you? He has to be telling the truth, because what no grown man say that. But this is all planted in our heads based off of Willie Lynch, based off of Roots, based off of Huck Finn, based off of movies, but it's not based off of real reality. Because I can guarantee you, if a lot of y'all start researching yourself, you'll find that your family members were not enslaved.
Exactly.
They weren't enslaved.
Exactly. So here's another thing, right? A couple of weeks ago, I called the BIA, and I'm certainly sure you guys know what the BIA is. If you don't, it's the Bureau of Indian Affairs, because I know they have a lot of our land in trust. And because you know me, I'm like each of you guys. People don't know the things I do behind the scenes, the calls that I make, the documents, the paperwork that I send to these people. And it was more of a call, to say, well, introduce myself as an American Aborigine, the original American Indian. And I was asking, well, what steps do I take for us to get back some of our land that's in trust? And all they were telling me was I have to fill out an application, send it to the federal government, and if they deem me worthy, then they would accept me, as a federally recognized tribe or nation or an individual. And I'm like, listen, I'm not looking for recognition. I know who I am. I don't need you to recognize me. What I'm looking for is I'm asking questions as to what steps do I take to get back what's mine that you were giving to these natives. And they was getting mad at me. Oh, well, you got to fill out the application. I'm like, why do I have to fill out an application is to beg? I'm not going to beg for what's mine. So my question to you guys is this. Yes, we have the right to self-identify. Okay. Yes, we have the Declaration on DRIP, United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People, but these people are not upholding these declarations. They are not honoring it. They are not respecting it. So my question to you guys is this. What do we do as a people that's seeking to restore our birthright, but we as the people who are supposed to be honoring those treaties and those declarations, they are not honoring them? So how do we deal with that situation? Where do we turn? Who do we go to? Like, seeing that we don't have the armed forces, how do you think we're going to overcome and restore our birthright as the Aborigines? Anybody could take this.
Well, I mean, hold on. I'm sorry. What I was going to say, well, I mean, there are victories as far as it depends on what is it an individual is looking for. If you're looking for, like, understand this, man, each individual can go and present their own case, and some individuals just want land. Some individuals say, well, if I can just get land, then all right, I got my reparations. Understand what I'm saying? So some people would just stop with that. You know what I'm saying? And other people want probably what the other tribes are getting as well as land. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to the individual, but it starts with the individual who fight. It's like it can't be a whole people thing because a lot of people don't know about it. Right. So the same way you go about it, the same, because I'm quite sure you got somewhere with what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? So the same way another individual gets somewhere with what he's doing, but he has to know or be able to identify first. Right. You don't know who you are. You still running around thinking you're African, then you screwed. Right. But right. I understand everything you're saying, bro. I called them too, man. I called them. I know, bro. I'm be calling professors, building with professors at colleges. I be calling tribes or whatever, and a lot of them will tell you. The people they got on there ain't nothing but a bunch of just admixtures of the original Aborigines, and some of the original Aborigines are classified as Africans, man. And they know that. They know that these people is not the people who represent these people. Y'all are offsprings or derivatives from other, you know what I'm saying, from other situations, and you claiming to be that. But there's a larger majority of people who really is that, who just don't know that. And like I said, it registers with the individual, because I'm talking to people, and some people just don't care. So I'm not here to like the be outside your house telling, yo, man, look, I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? If the energy would have been moving with you, then it would have been moving with you. But you know, some people do be interested. You know what I'm saying? Right. Some people don't understand the ramifications of it. They don't understand, like, they classify you as something that you're not from a whole continent. And the people that's in that continent, they understand their tribal connection or the tribal territory or whatever their ancestors were. We're being called two continents, man. You're here and you're here. You're African and you're American. So you have the two colonial statuses, even though that the Amarukan or the Amari, or however you want to pronounce America prior to them applying it to them. You know what I'm saying? And however you want to apply. But yeah, man, it's like I said, bro. Like what I see is this, man. I see people just like the Freemans and the Cherokees, but see, they agreed to bring them into the tribes and give them reparations, right? But they still are telling them that the only reason that they Indians is because the Africans mixed in with them. Right. They're not telling them that them was the original Freeman, was the original damn Indians. They don't even know that. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. So they took money just to get in there, and I would have wanted them to properly identify, like, we the real Indians. That's the reason why we in here. We ain't no derivatives, or it ain't because y'all had us as slaves, because some of y'all are family members who was dirty and y'all sold us out. And that's what happened. You enslaved, most of them enslaved their own family members. A lot of cases like that, a lot of cases where a lot of these tribes was dirty and they let a lot of these Europeans in that was definitely mixed. Because come on, bro, there's no white people on this continent. So how are the Indians white? Right. If you ever see a white Indian, you know he's non-legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Anybody should be smart enough to understand that, unless you don't know history.
Right, true. And that makes sense. That makes sense. So I appreciate that input. Yeah, for sure. So Chief Holiday, what's your take on that?
Well, all options should be on the table. And in fact, it should be a buffet of options should be on the table. So before all, can understand that, like, we should have other things that have not necessarily been on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should have certain options that you know that should happen. Like, you know, it's just certain things. Like, it don't take a lot of people to make a lot of things happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so it can only take a few good men and women to make these things happen. You know what I'm saying? So us are just worried about ourselves. We're not worried about the future and doing stuff for our children's children, and being able to lay a foundation down. We're waiting on a savior to come save us. So, you know, we definitely gotta put other things on the table, man. And yeah, you know, if the undrip stuff's not working, okay, well, there's an office. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk to somebody. Let's have a meeting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
People need to start smelling our. You know what I mean? They need to start seeing our faces a little bit more, and we need to apply a lot more pressure. Like, we're not asking. Like, why am I asking you my stuff? Like, you're on my land. You're polluting my stuff. You're driving on my land. So I'm not asking you. So I'm telling you. So I think we got to have a different way of thinking. I think that's the problem.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We are seeking permission opposed to putting on notice. And I'm glad you said that. Now, here's another thing. A lot of, you know, our people are in what I call an identity crisis. Okay. For those of us who know who we are, there is still some type of discrepancy or sort of like disagreement in terms of what should we call ourselves. Some people are saying we are not Indians. Some people are saying we are indigenous. Some people are saying we are not Aboriginal. Okay, so to any one of you guys, right? Let me ask you a question. Do you think we should go with indigenous, Indians, or Aboriginal? Because a lot of times people think Aboriginal means to be away from, but in essence, it's not. The true etymology of Aboriginal means to be that you came from, not away from, but people don't know that. So people argue those things. So let me ask you guys, and people don't realize that anybody could be indigenous, because indigenous is a broad term. However, not everybody could be an Aborigine. You see what I'm saying? So we have to make that clear. So what's your take on that? And Autochthonous One, I'm gonna let you go first.
Well, I'm an Autochthon. I'm one sprung from the soil here, she habits. So that pretty much clears that. I'm also Aborigine, because when you look up the word America, it ain't saying AB, being abnormal and all this other goofy stuff that people pay attention to. If you look at the word, is plain and simple. Originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by Europeans. They're calling the people here Aborigines. And then people also get it confused because they think that it was applied to the people in Australia. It wasn't applied to the people in Australia until 1812. It was the doctrine of discovery talks about the Aborigine people and how to enslave them and put them under perpetual servitude. So we know it means first inhabitants. That's the reason why the Mongoloids do not. That's why they try to throw that indigenous term around. They don't. Why they don't bring up the fact of Aborigines, meaning they don't bring that up. They never use that word. They use the word native or Native American. So, like I said, I go with what they using, and all of it is so many terms. Why? Listen, think of it like this, right? Why are they not using the word Aborigine? You never hear like okay, all right. If them Indians over there Aborigines, why they not calling them that?
Right.
Why that
Exactly.
word so? Why is it so like it's like I'm trying to find the right word to use. It's out there for us, but no one's used it. They only use it applied to the people of Australia because they know that when they apply it to the people here, it tells you in the Smithsonian Institute that the modern Native Americans resemble Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese say, but the oldest original ones resemble Africans, Australians, and South Pacific Islanders.
Right. Right.
So them would be the Aborigines.
Right. Exactly.
The first inhabitants. So they try to keep that word to where you don't use it. Keep using it. I'm gonna keep using it. I mean, I don't care. I'm not gonna let nobody.
There you go. And that's the way that I feel. I totally agree with you. And so, Chief Holiday, what's your take on that? Okay, I think Chief Holiday's he might be taking care of something because I know he'd be multitasking. But I'm gonna give my 2 cents on that as well. And just like I said, the term indigenous is very broad, and that's why they use that on drip because they are more dealing with the native aspect of things. And seeing that the federal government, they have actually adapted the term native, which literally makes you a subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, then those people are property. So for us to call ourselves natives is a problem. We can't call ourselves that. But however, if you go look at the definition of the word autochthon, then it means, like you said, the original inhabitants, the original people. So I tell people, hey, I'm an autochthon American, okay? And it's as simple as that. Now, I do use the term Indians, Indian very often only because a lot of the treaties that are in place, okay, they were done on the concept of calling our people the Indians. So those things, it's actually upheld in what you call law. So for me personally, I don't mind using the term Indian, all right? But for the most part, I tell people, like my ID, one of my IDs says autochthon American. So I would just rather leave it as that. But for sometimes for documents and certain things, I put AKA American Indian, so they're not misconstrued or they don't have any idea what I'm talking about. So I do rep, the Indian, and so that's a good thing. So while Chief Holiday is on break, Autochthonous One, let me ask you a question in terms of DNA. Now, I know a lot of people, they don't like DNA because we know the mainstream ones, right? But what's your take on DNA? Do you think DNA can be used, okay, to identify one, so that they could put their mind at ease? Okay, I don't have any family, I don't know who I am, so I'm going to do a DNA to see, if I am an American Indian or am I just an American Aborigine? What's your take on DNA?
Well, I mean, until they change what the template of the DNA test is, then I mean that's not a good because it's still, excuse me, it's still kind of ambiguous what an Indian is and what an Indian look like. It's ambiguous. It's vague. So we don't. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I tell people, like, if you don't know what an Indian look like, you got to go back and look at look at these maps of the black people that they put on there. And even listen, bro, they out there. You just gotta do your research. But
right.
I got a little bit off of what. Say that to me one more time, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the question was, people ask about DNA because there's certain companies specifically.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Let's say I got you. All right, so boom, DNA. All right, so look, one thing you got to take into account: there was tens of million Aborigines from this eastern Terra Nova that was taken to West Africa and Europe. So that's kind of a catch-20 sometimes. You know why? You can look at it from two perspectives. The people over there might have came from over here. That's why we test up with them.
Yep,
that's
true.
one thing. Number two, say, well, maybe they only testing you with a certain. They already estimating that you going to think you one of these different areas within either West Africa or South or South Africa. You know what I'm saying? So they already give it to you for. I think of it like this, right? If they're going to do DNA tests, they will have markers from the whole every continent, and then test you with everybody, and then see what it says. That's the only way you can really find, because they tell you that all black people came from Africa and all people came from Africans. So if all people came from Africans, all people will have one genetic trait that's common with everyone.
True.
And that's what they test you for. They test you. Listen, bro, look, you will test positive with every African in Africa. Because we all got genetic, we all got melanin skin, we all got certain characteristic that we identify. You understand what I'm saying? Even dark skin will come up as a genetic similarity. But you can't tell no race and no ethnicity. You can't say, all right, well, you was in Nigeria, and how? Because all these people that migrated since the original people. That it's very, 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 very confusing. I would never take no DNA, because you have to take this into consideration. Understand it too, right? Most people don't do the research on how many people was here. They just guesstimate that, okay, they brought 380,000 people here. All right, it was less people here than the Africans was born here, so we all African. What about if it was 35 million black Aborigines here and 380,000 people mixed in with them? Then what would that make you? And then that can't even be in all situations, because we scattered around. We got people in the Caribbean, we got people in California, we got people in Massachusetts, we got people all the way down to like St. Thomas and all the islands, all the way down.
True.
Every island that the English colonized, we can say that they took people from here down there. We can easily say that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they was doing. They were sending the pink quad to Bermuda and Barbados. And then if some of them stayed there, and then some of them came back as Negroes. So we like the whole everything that people saying, like, I done seen I forgot it's an archaeologist, I think his last name Dobbins, but I got it documented or whatever. But he said it was 117 million people in the Americas, and he broke it down in sections. So most of the time we rock on the northeast shoreboard all the way down to the South America. You figured like the Yucatan Peninsula all the way out to the islands, all that's us. You understand? True. So, and even all the way to Louisiana and the Mississippi, because we know the Mississippi rock all the way out to the Caribbean as well. So,
absolutely.
And that's why I tell people, because my father from Georgia, and my father, the islands go out to the damn Caribbean. Like in Georgia and Atlanta, they got islands out there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people don't know that you could literally drive from the mainland into the Caribbean. A lot of people don't know that.
That's right. Yeah. I do, bro. Trust me, I do. Like I know the coons, and I know what they call coons and why they call people coon. Cause my aunt got the dark under her eyes or whatever. But nonetheless, what I'm saying is you gotta do the research. They don't tell you how many people was here. They only tell you how many people they brought here. And people don't automatically assume, okay, well, if let's say, for example, there was 2 million Aborigines here, that would still make you more than you would be them.
Exactly.
So there's no, and then that's only in certain situations, because they was not taking Africans everywhere. So they lie to you and tell you, oh, well, we taking them everywhere where you see a slave, it was an African. No, most of the slaves was Aborigines.
Yes, indeed. And for the most part, when they first brought the Africans here, they only went to Jamestown, Virginia. And at that time, in 1619, it was literally less than 50 of them.
But you gotta be careful with that, though, Chief. You gotta be careful with that. You know why? Because the 1619, we get two 1619 stories. We get the story of Squanto, who was grabbed from the Eastern Seaboard and took into Europe in 1614, and he made it back in 1619. That's one story. Then we get another story of how John Hopkins and Sir Francis Drake, which was ship robbers, they was robbing the Spanish, and as the Spanish was bringing the ships out, they would rob them. That's the reason why they call us Negros. Because they was taking the Spanish, the Spanish was taking people from the Caribbean back to Spain because they wasn't finding the gold that they was expecting to find. The English was robbing their ships, point blank. That's the only reason why they call us Negroes, because that's a Spanish term. Why would Germanic Anglo-Saxons call us Negroes? They got other terms in which you understand, the people from Holland, the people from all these different Northern Anglo-Saxon groups was using different terms, and that's why the word nigger and all these terms come up, because they remember Germanic is a form of English which they use vowels.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the negro, nigger. They can easily mispronounce it because they don't speak Latin in the form of which the Spanish, the French, or the Portuguese speaks it. So you got to take that in consideration, because the English, listen, we wasn't colonized by no Spanish, so we shouldn't be called Negro. So why did they call us Negro? Because they was robbing them. So they was the first slave story that we hear in 1619 came from Spain. Okay, no, I'm sorry, came from the island of Espanol.
Right.
Or it could have came from any of the Caribbean or any other. So we can't even say that. So, like I said, man, I mean,
that's absolutely true. Because they were transferring, and a lot of times people speak of the transatlantic slave trade, but they're not familiar with the American slave trade because they don't teach that. Because even before the supposed transatlantic slave trade, they had the American slave trade, where they were taking our ancestors, the so-called American Indians, and taking them all over the world, Britain, Portugal, Italy, all those different places. And even up to this present day, statues with our ancestors with the feathers are still in those locations. So the truth of the matter is, we need to tell our story. We have to tell our own story. We cannot afford to have the colonizers tell our story, because it is not in their benefit to tell the truth. Okay? It wouldn't serve them any purpose. So therefore, we are the ones who have to educate our people with the facts and let them know exactly what's going on, who we are. We have always been here. And the narrative of the slave trade thing coming from Africa, again, is just a theory. And it has been debunked many times. So that makes sense. Chief Holiday, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
Okay, cool. So yeah, give some I know you've been listening, so give some feedback on what we were just talking about, if you don't mind. Okay, you good?
Yeah, no, I didn't hear what you said. It broke up.
Okay, so yeah, we were talking about we spoke about a few things. The first thing we had talked about was, how credible do you think there are, because I know the broad stream or the mainstream DNA companies, I know they are all for entertainment purposes. Okay, now there are private DNA companies. Like I tell people, for me, I have a different take on the whole DNA scenario or the concept of DNA, right? Because like I was saying on Lex Vortex's platform, if I were to go, let's just say, go into a location, right? And I supposedly or allegedly raped a woman. And when the investigators come, the police, whatever, they investigate and they found my DNA at that site. Okay. Now they take, there's a court case and it's conclusive that's my DNA. Let me ask you a question. How likely would it be that I would be set free if my DNA was found on the site? So wouldn't you say that DNA is credible? Because there are private companies that literally do specific tests, okay, that says and shows that you are exclusively an American Indian. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, internet. I mean, the DNA is definitely not. It's the accuracy of it is less than 0.1%. So I don't think that that's something that we could use for that. Now, when you're doing like
Well,
paternal DNA or something like that,
there's some of them that don't deal with percentages. What they do is they test, people that's in certain locations, and they test those markers. They do more markers opposed to percentage. So, what's your take on that?
yeah, no, that's not true, bro. I don't deal with it at all.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't think that at all, bro. I mean, it's just not accurate at all. The science is not there to be able to go back that many generations and to every generation your ancestry doubles.
Right. True.
So it's not there.
Okay. All right. Cool. And so we were also talking about, in terms of, the narrative of, the slaves. A lot of times people don't, like I was saying, people don't know there was an actual American Indian slave trade, because we were always taught about the transatlantic slave trade. So can you shed any light on the American Indian slave trade, when our ancestors were literally taken from the mainland, brought into the Caribbean, and as a matter of fact, all over the Americas, and taken into different parts of the world?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, shit. From Cristobal Colon, they talk about them taking the Aborigines from Espanol to Europe. You know what I'm saying? So we know that this process was happening when the Dutch came into New York with the Pequot tribe. So they talk about during the colonial times, the so-called Indian slave trade, right? But the problem is with this Indian slave trade, they didn't call us Indians during the colonial time.
Mm.
So a lot of times that we're confused because they're writing words and they're putting words back in time periods that didn't exist. Perfect example, they wouldn't call Crispus Attucks Indian. You know what I'm saying? So what was they calling them? Negro de Terra, or Americans.
Right.
So yeah, I just think we got to just know our history, man, and know the truth and know the etymology of words. I think that's the problem.
Right.
So yeah.
True. All right. Beautiful. So moving forward, okay, as a people, I know we spoke of, going into these different offices. And I mean, for me personally, I think, we should definitely do that as a group, opposed to individuals. But like Autochthonous One was saying earlier, and which of course I'm familiar with and I do as well, you have to put these people on notice, because, they have information on you that they assume and presume. Okay. And unless you tell them differently, then you will continue to be seen as a certain individual, or have a certain political status in their system. Which brings me to my next question. A lot of people are actually looking forward to the 2020 census. Now, to both of you guys, and any one of you guys could go first. Well, Chief Holiday, I'm going to ask you to go first on this one. Do you think it's a good idea that we, the Aborigines, do the 2020 census? Do you think how relevant is the census? Do you think we should do it, or we should just be like, you know what, we're not just getting involved in this stuff, period. I know who I am. I don't care what they think. Do you think that we should literally go on the census and put our thing in there, or just let it be?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I know this, man, that we are in the system. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, that so-called fighting the system, they send their children to the schools with with the so-called enemies, and they go to church. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they just associate with the people, neighbors, even. You know what I'm saying? So, so I think that we are missing. We have been taught to be against our own self. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, like, yeah, man, I can't put my finger on it, man. I'm trying to put this thing together, y'all.
So here's a more specific question. Would you fill out the 2020 census? If yes, tell me why. If no, tell me why.
Man, yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence with this one, y'all. I mean, I can't. I don't know. I don't know what to say because I'm kind of like, yo, I wanna be, I want my birth certificate to recognize who I am. You know what I'm saying? I want the government to recognize who I am. I want to be able to receive the benefits. So I guess in order to do that, you have to be able to fill out the census report and things of that nature. I just think that those things are. I think the census and the Census Bureau is another act of war, and another way how they control us. So yeah, we should be suing the Census Bureau as opposed to doing that. You know what I'm saying, as American Aborigines, we should be suing the Census Bureau to take off African American, for instance, right? And to classify all of our brothers and sisters as the true first inhabitants of this land. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, yo. I want to change the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you. Autochthonous One, what's your take on the Census Bureau? Would you fill out the 2020 census? If yes, tell me why, and if no, tell me why.
I mean, that's the census where they saying they allow you to self-identify, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm saying if they're gonna allow you to self-identify, hell yeah, fill it out. Hey, listen, man, they already got, unless you expatriated, if you still got a social security number or whatever, you still under their rule. So it doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
So, like I said, if you didn't expatriate or ex parte, you still under their rule. Right, so it really doesn't. If you still operating under one of them, yeah. If you're not, it's not gonna hurt you if you're not neither, because you're not one of their corporate slaves. So if you're not one of their corporate slaves, then you could put the self-identify on there. But for the most part, I mean, it all depends on how this thing is being played. Is it being played for them to identify so they can know who we are, or is it for that so they can just say, well, okay, all right, well, they got people who identify as this.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I mean, it really ain't gonna matter. It really ain't gonna hurt. I mean, I don't think so.
So let me ask you guys, right? What if we were put in a situation, because yes, this is our home, this is our land, but what if we were put in a situation where, because remember, we don't have the armed forces to kind of like enforce, our agendas. What if we were put in a position like somebody just mentioned, they force us to prove that we are the American Aborigines? How would you prove that?
Easy. You self-identify. You ask me who I am, Chief Kalinago. Ask me who I am.
Who are you?
I'm a autochthonous American, and then I can also prove it. I mean, my grandmother told me.
Okay.
Now you have to prove. See, you know what the biggest thing is? They were trying to prove that you're not that.
Right. Put the burden on them.
That's right. They can't prove that you're not that. And when you're in a lot of these situations, they don't try to. They rock off of your ignorance. A lot of the people who put these things in place are dead. A lot of these Albert Pikes and a lot of these the Walter Pleckers and a lot of these people are dead. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of these people now really don't know. They really don't know who you are. And you walking in telling them that you are something that you've been manipulated to say, then that's a whole nother topic, man. But as far listen, bro, I'm operating the way I want to operate in this. I want to be operating better, but I do know that that's not, like, some things is just not realistic. It's just not. I mean, we have to be real about this shit, man. Right, some things is just not realistic, but what can be realistic is letting people have an idea that there was black people here and there was more black people here than the Africans that was born here, and then they can go from there. They have options. You have options on what you can do if that criteria fits you. Other than that, that's what people need to get to work on. People don't know who the hell they is, man. Well, they still filling out African Americans on the birth on everything. So until people change what they doing, even with that, like I said, I self-identify. You ask me what I am, I tell them I'm American, Indian, I'm a Autochthonous, or I'm an Aborigine of America. Right. I definitely identify that. I already then did all my shit, so I'm good.
And of course, and I concur because you see, my thing is the burden on proof is on them. That's right. You prove to me that that's not who I am. You see, and one thing people don't realize is that our oral history has a lot of credence, okay? Because who are you to tell me that's not what my great-grandmother told me? You know, are you going to dig up her grave and ask her? You see, so a lot of times it's fear that prevents people from stepping up to the plate and correcting their status. Now, with that being said, let me divert a little bit to something that kind of just crossed my mind, right? A lot of us, you know, and I'm speaking for myself as well, a lot of us want, for me too, I mean, I've done a lot more than a lot of people have done. I mean, I've done my dossier, I've sent it out, I've sent out notices, I have my IDs, I do all those things. Okay, I even have a passport with Chief Kalinago Flying Eagle, so I have all that stuff already. But my question to you guys is this, right? For those of us who are stepping into who we are and we are not being recognized by the system per se, okay, how do we navigate? Okay, because now to turn a light bill on, they still want you to use the so-called government name instead of recognizing your Aboriginal title. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, how do we navigate? It's like you want to be indigenous like you are, you want to be an Autochthon American, but they keep pulling you back into the system, into being a legal person, a corporate United States citizen. And for some reason, they want to force you to use a social security number, even if they know it's voluntary. They want to force you to assimilate into all those things. Like, how do we get around that as a people? Do we continue to play the game until we have more people coming together? Or do we just individually say, you know what, man, I'm going to fight to the nail and not cave in? Or am I going to give in a little? Okay, maybe 5 days out of the week, I'm an American Indian. And then 2 days out of the week, I'm going to be a citizen because I have to survive. I got to eat. Because you guys know what we do, we don't get paid because we are not pushing the Black narrative. We're not teaching people how to be Black. We're not teaching them how to be African American. So it's not popular. And if we have a GoFundMe, people complain. So let me ask you a question. How do people like you and I, you know, survive? What do we do? Okay, do we half and half? Or, I mean, you know where I'm going with this. What do we do?
Well, I wanted to, you know, I guess I can mix both my answer with from last question to this one. According to the Department of Interior, if your grandparents or your great grandparents are colored, like are labeled as colored, that would connect your great grandparents or your grandparents to the copper colored races or aboriginals that they found when they came here that would be considered American. So I just feel like, you know, we just need to start wording our stuff better when we're suing, you know what I'm saying? We're suing as American Aborigines, not as freedmen or African Americans, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem, you know what I'm saying? I mean, man, you know, at this point, man, you know, I just feel like, you know, if this is our system, we wrote the Constitution. We formed these cities, you know what I'm saying? This is our stuff. I think that we have to take over the system. You know what I'm saying? Take over the power. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is our land and everything on it is ours. And I think we've been fooled and alienated away from our power, away from our land, because they've been telling us that we're African Americans. And I think that we have been socialized. Now, here's the thing how we beat this. Because according to the Department of Interior, they changed our names to African Americans based off of social pressures from us, aka the Negroes, right? Aka the copper color races, aka the Black Indians, aka Negroes of the land. Y'all follow what I'm going with this? Aka the Maroons. All these represent us of the people that were already here. Only descriptive terms by the French speaking, the Spanish speaking, or the British people who came here, who were using us to fight against each other by proxy. We were the ones that were fighting the Revolutionary War. We were the ones that were fighting the Spanish and Indian or Negro War, French and Negro War. We were the ones fighting in these wars. We are the Americans. They came later, late 1700s, 1800s, and started to put, you know, pressures and doing certain things and change and stuff like that or whatever, start creating spaces for them to come over here from Europe.
Now, I think another thing that they get us on too, when we talk about the Census Bureau, they need to be sued, that they're saying that these people outnumber us. That's a lie.
Right.
We are the majority on our land.
Exactly.
Period.
And I
Shout out
agree.
to the family, man.
I agree.
Peace, love.
All right. Indeed. Indeed. Let me ask Autochthonous One this question here, right? Now, seeing that, people such as yourself, Chief Holiday and others, okay, that are aware of who we are, but yet still we are so far spread in between. Like, take for instance, I'm not sure where you are, Autochthonous One, but I know Chief Holiday is in Vegas. I'm in New York. Do you think we should come together in one location so that we could be stronger, or stay in our individual territories and work? Because it seems like we may be able to accomplish more together, but a lot of people are afraid of another scenario, such as the so-called Black Wall Street. Like, seeing that we are together in one group, we will be easier targeted. Now, do you think that's just fear speaking, or should we really come together in one location and move forward full throttle as a force, or stay in our respective territories and do what we are doing individually and hoping that we could make these moves? What's your take on that? Autochthonous One.
Well, as far as Black Wall Street, there's so many black cities in which that can be fixed up and be. Listen, when no one else is guilty of having their own in this country. Chinese people got it. You got so many ethnicities now. It's not like it was in the 1930s, because you got all these different ethnicities of people here. So you got all these different broken down cities in which that's how they able to gentrify you, because you don't go back and fix your own up. So they can be Black Wall Streets everywhere, just like how I ride up in these Spanish neighborhoods. I see Spanish stores all over. They're not scared or guilty to do it.
Right.
Why should the original people who on their own land be scared to do it?
But people are saying it's like when everybody else does it, it seems to be okay. But when we do it, they want to shut us down.
But you gotta have listen, like I said, if you moving under your proper identification, like I mean, like I said, I don't move as a Ani Yawanya or a Seminole or Blackfoot. I don't move as none of that, because all them names was made up too. Right, so true. And then they not identifying the original people. We know that the original people here, the first inhabitants, are Aborigines. So I can go under that title and get everything else. I can be displaced, or I can go ahead under whatever tribe. But what I'm saying is that people should already be doing stuff like that, man. And even like, okay, if you want to say just a town where it's all Aborigines, no, open up an Aborigine store. Oh, somebody like, all right, boom. Let's say an individual, you open up an Aborigine food store. People gonna wonder, well, what's the Aborigine? Then they start learning from there. And then they start knowing who they are, and then you start seeing that go around. And then people start understanding, people better unite. But it starts first with just commonality, man, because we don't even have, forget the ideologies, forget how, like I said, the status between rich and poor, forget all that. We can't even come together just to say, look, man, we're losing, and we need to start getting some type of economical power. Or so we already got all the economical. We spend all the economics back and give it to them, as opposed to even spending anything with us. But one of the biggest things is it's hard for a lot of us to open businesses. So that means that you have to go under the rule of the white man for 20 years or whatever, and then you have to try dap into your pension or your 401k, or you got to be saving the money, or if you have to have a job to where you accumulate that type of money, you'll have to be saving it. There's a lot of different scenarios. You get hit by a car and get $1 million. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, a lot like you have to look at it. Like even a lot of these corporations, bro. Look, I got 2.5 college degrees, bro. And I still can't get a corporate. I don't want no corporate job.
Right.
I can't. That's going to compromise me. I don't want to. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no corporate job. I'm just trying to get enough to where I can build on my own. Because you think like this, bro. Imagine you knowing what you know. You got to work next to Bob every day, and I kind of do that. I kind of do it, but I got a little bit more freedom with what I do. You know what I'm saying? But And there oh man, this guy, like, he's not one of us, and no, I'm not one of you. I'm not, you know. And then like, they want to break you down to being what's my man, a childish Gambino. That's how they want all black people to be like him. They want all black men to be dancing around like some damn, I mean, like, you know, running around like he running around. They want jokers moving the way he's moving. They don't want to see no masculine men walking like gods or walking like, you know what I'm saying, running around here like the Hulk. They don't want to see that. They want to see niggas who's queer. Like she told me the other day, it was a message to it, but it wasn't a message for me because I'm past that shit he talking about. That's conscious to somebody who's not conscious. That's like 444 Jay-Z album. Go get credit and all that shit. Like, that's okay. All right. We get it. You know what I'm saying? But the childish Gambino was conscious to someone who wasn't conscious. So some idiot out there who never, he's conscious. No, he's not. If he was conscious, he'd be telling you Aboriginal.
Right, exactly.
That's a fact.
Until you hear anybody say nobody is conscious, if they have left, they have how you say they have waves of consciousness, but it's not a definite thing with this guy. He's kissing Europeans, he's running around, yo, bro, no man, do that. Where I'm from, listen, you gay if you do that. If you even play them type of games, you gay. It ain't no coming back from that. But see, them European women allow you to do that. They don't care. You can be sleeping with men, and you go right home and give them herpes or give them syphilis or what. They don't have no problem with it. And I'm not trying to be funny, but we see that this what happens in a lot of these relationships. You know, Aboriginal women ain't gonna have that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, some of them might do, but for the majority of them, they really don't rock like that. But
right.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Chief. Yeah, Chief. What's your take on that?
Well, I'll say this, man. In my mind, I feel like, you know, once we identify, self-identify, and then make them the man that they identify as, I think that we should be reparated. You know what I'm saying? We should get reparations based on all of the historical things that they know that they've done, and we owe back pay for a lot of things that they're doing. So that's the one thing that we should be funded to rebuild our communities that they helped destroy. But even if we just go with the 1900s and the drug epidemics and all the things that they flooded the communities to put the communities in the condition that it's in today. So yeah, I think that I know that we need to, that Trump and them niggas need to release the funds with no strings attached to Aborigines who are building businesses in the Aboriginal communities all over America. That's what I see. That's what I want to see. And I don't want to hear nothing else other than that. Them funding, them taking these tax dollars that is our money that's owed to us.
So how
literally
about
give it to us so we can build our communities. Yes.
But so what about the redress of land? Because for me, money is cool, but at the same time it has no value. So do you think we should go for redress that's monetary, or we should make an attempt to get redress for the land, or both?
Both.
All right. Right.
You know what I mean? But if they give me enough money, I could buy any land I need. But
right, true.
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't be buying our own
But do
land.
you think we should be buying our own land, which I was about to ask?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right. So at the end of the day, I mean, I'm certainly sure we all could agree on this. It's a matter, and like we've always said, it's not going to take a lot of us. But the truth of the matter is, a Black person cannot own anything because they don't exist. An African American cannot own anything because they don't exist. Okay, a legal person cannot own anything because they only exist on paper, in a paper world. So we have to teach people how to identify themselves as real flesh man and woman who is, well, first things first, I tell people I'm a man first. I'm a man made in the likeness and image of my creator. And secondly, I'm an Autochthon American. So with that being said, we have to teach people how to be men and women, and then teach them about their statuses and how to get those things corrected. And so that we could step up and do what we got to do. Because again, property cannot own property. So we have to detach ourselves from the beast in order to be rendered what's due unto us. as they say, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Now, let's talk about, because a lot of people, tend to throw a lot of flame and fire because I'm not sure if you guys, so I can only speak for me, but we have GoFundMes, okay? People don't, and here's my take on that first. People don't realize that people say, well, go get a job. Well, I say, well, you have a job and you know how stressful it is. And you work all this time and you don't have the time to do the research and the study that we do. Okay, if we had a 9 to 5, how do you think we would gain all that knowledge that we have to teach? So why does it seem that our people are the only ones that have a problem with us having GoFundMes when we are the ones reading books, 400-500 pages? Like, I could speak for me, doing all this research, doing the videos, coming to teach. What these people think, that we don't have livelihoods, we don't have bills to pay? Like, what's your take on that? Like, why do people have a problem in us, giving to them all our knowledge, all the information they want? Like Autochthonous One was saying, we do documents, okay? We file papers, we do all these things for people, but people expect us to do it for free. What's your guys' take on that?
Well, I mean, as far as that, listen, bro, it's up to each individual. Like right now, like I'm gonna bring out some apparel representing Aborigines, and I've been in the works for a minute. But I got some finalizations that I'm doing, so I'm gonna try to get mines in that type of way. But as far as like donations, brother, if you listen, you doing the work out here, bro. You ain't out here swindling nobody. You ain't out there telling nobody. If you got your subscribers and they feel as though your content is worth supporting, then that's up to them. No one can go back and say, well, look, man, you don't deserve this. You putting up videos, man. Your videos is good, bro. You know what I'm saying? You put work out there.
Right.
You gotta put up, bro. Listen, man, you gotta appreciate it, man. You gotta appreciate the work, because look, you could be home playing NBA Live or some shit. Or, I mean, or Madden or something. You ain't gotta be on here telling nobody nothing. We could be sitting up here trying to get money and try to just, you know what I'm saying, not even trying to service or help your own people, because people don't know how valuable this information is. They think that this is, you know what I'm saying? If you paying people who taking towards the Egypt and all of this, a lot of this other stuff that's going on, what do you think you paying brothers and sisters who digging in these historical documents, who digging in these records, reading, making these hour videos in which you're learning something? They ain't teaching this in university. Like I told y'all, I done took American History 101, and I done took like 4 history classes, and they not talking about none of this stuff. So if they're not talking about it, but you go there and pay for some pseudo information, then why wouldn't you pay a brother who teaching you something that's legitimate? Even a brother such as Callaway, right? You know, if he out there really doing research or whatever, and whatever his information is, if people paying for it, and that's up to them. I can't sit there and say, oh, knock him. He's doing research. This is what people, like I said, people, you going to these universities paying for nothing. So you got real brothers out here who really doing the research, who really teaching you something. And like I said, you can do the research, like for example, how I do mine. Most of my videos, I either be reading from the screen, or I show people and I cross-reference it with other things. So I'm always one that gotta have a pro and a con. And I always, when I pro and con it, I look, and then I use my opinion of what I may think. Somebody else might get something else out of it, but one thing you can get out of it, you can't tell me 380,000 so-called Africans made almost 8 million black people on the census in 1870. You ain't going to tell me that. You're not going to tell me that, especially in a time where women are, and you can tell me how many breeding farms there was and all that. That's all BS. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you in bondage under stress like that, a woman's body is shut down. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at all them situations or whatever. Ain't nobody going to be voluntarily having kids. And when they under stress, you got different hormonal compounds in your body that will shut certain things down. Especially if you're not in a comfortable state.
Right.
So people got to take that into consideration. Like you think of 380,000 people, and then the numbers jump. The numbers first they start with the 1619 story, but we shatter that. Then they say, oh well, no, it happened in 1670 in Virginia because of Virginia, the 1665 Act or 1685 Act, where they show Negroes being imported either by sea or by land. They show Moors, etc. What people don't understand is this, right? There was a small number of Africans, bro. The majority of people was Aborigines. For every 10, 9 of them was Aborigines because they was only had scattered so-called Africans there. The majority of people who populate them countries now came from here. This is my belief. That's why we can go into all them different countries and we can see different looking people. Why don't all the Africans look alike?
Right, true.
I've seen Africans as dark as your shirt, my brother. You understand what I'm saying? And I have seen them copper color like you. You understand what I'm saying? So understand that. Like, and even Nigerians. If you look at some Nigerians, you got Nigerians that's real light. I mean, I'm not saying that's light skin, but they are light brown skin.
Yeah.
So where they come from?
Right.
So you gotta, like I said, there's a lot of different things you gotta take in consideration, and you really gotta understand exactly what's going on out here, man. Because people be talking, but people don't do the proper research, and they don't understand for themselves.
Yes.
So I yield the mic, man.
Absolutely, and I think what we need to do, especially those of us who are into the knowledge and that have already taken the step. In terms of, correcting our status. I think what we need to do, we need to start going into the faces of these senators, these politicians, and asking them questions on air. Like, what are you doing, to secure the rights of the Aborigines? We have to, well, for me, wherever I go, I represent myself. I always have my feathers. I always have my headbands. I always have my raccoon tail. I always represent where I go. So people recognize that and they respect that. But I don't think enough of us are stepping up, on the platform and asking those people those questions, holding them responsible. Nobody's holding them responsible. And that's one of the reasons why I think we are not getting as much progress or recognition as we should be getting, because nobody's stepping up on a major platform. Like when they have this community senator meetings and the mayor is talking somewhere, I don't see our people there with feathers asking questions, putting pressure on these people. So do you think that's a good idea that we should start doing that to start holding some of these people responsible? Chief.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I talk about this a lot. We need to go down to the school board meetings, the city council meetings, all these things, and they basically, let it be known that we are here, that we're involved in the process. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to utilizing the tax dollars for the American Aborigines, which that's what they were initially
created for.
Created, yeah. I mean, the Army, the Navy, all these things were created for us and by us, period. This country is our country. So when they say, let's make America great again, I'm with all that.
Right, indeed. And another thing is, and that's what we have to do, because you see, on DRIP is a treaty, it's a declaration, not more so a treaty, but they are actually bound by oath to uphold that treaty. And within that treaty, it does say that because they are making decisions with the Aborigines, but yet still we are not at the table, okay, when those decisions are made. However, those decisions tend to affect our lives every single day. So my thing is, we need to form a body of Aborigines, okay, that would be at every single meeting, lecture, wherever they're doing something and decisions are being made that affects our lives. We need to have a say in those things, because our needs are different from other ethnic groups, especially people who are immigrants in our own land. And what really, it bothers me that the real immigrants are calling American Aborigines immigrants. You know what I mean? And that's because, again, people don't have the knowledge. So we need to find some way where we could make this thing massive. Okay, even within on drip, it says that one of the articles that even with the major media, they supposed to have indigenous programs. So what I think we should do is, of course, off the air, with a few of us, we need to put some documents together and require Fox, require NBC, those major networks to give us, a platform, because that is our right as the Aborigines to have that platform in our land, especially with those medias that's in our land and that's on drip. So we need to start utilizing these tools, okay, that we have to get to where we have to go. I don't think that we're using those tools. And for those of us who are using it, we are not using it to the full potential, because there's no reason why we don't have a show on NBC or Fox or CNN where people just sit down and watch all this propaganda and all this BS, but our story is not being told. So I think that we should definitely get into the practice of holding these people responsible, shoving on drip in their faces, and if they are not acknowledging that, then we can start putting in claims for discrimination against the American Aborigines. What you guys think about that?
Well, I think we got our own platforms now. They just ain't as large as the media platform. I don't expect them to tell us anything anyway, because it's for them. Them new media stations are not for the Aborigines.
Oh no, that's true. That's true. But what I'm saying is, because of on drip, okay, the major news networks, they are supposed to have indigenous programs, but they don't. So I'm saying, yes, we do have YouTube, but it's limited. Look at the context of what we are speaking on and how important it is, and we have about 50 to 100 people watching. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine if we could have a platform where we get 2-3 million people at once, even if it's a half an hour program. I'm just saying is we should be rallying for major platforms in order to get the message out. At least, you know what? Nothing beats a failure but a trial. And I'm just saying that's one of the ways we could definitely start putting some things in place. We have our YouTube platforms, but let's go big. It's either we're gonna go big or go home. We are at a point, at least for me, in my opinion, we are in a juncture in our existence now where we live in a beautiful time. We don't have to hide in the shadows anymore. The world know who we are, and it's time to get up, because you see, the only reason why the international platform is not intervening on behalf of we the Aborigines is because the majority of the people are still enslaved mentally. They are still Black, they're still African American, they are still private slaves. So whatever any master does with his slave, another man or another nation cannot intervene. However, if it's enough of us Aborigines letting the world know that we are the Aborigines, then I promise you there will be some type of international intervention. And I know that for a fact.
Well, I agree that we, like I said, we should definitely fight on all levels, legally, and demand, our rights. Like I said before, we're not going and asking, what I'm saying?
Right,
we have
exactly.
rights to own our own platforms and things of that nature, right? But I think that the government should kick in fund our things, to educate, same way that they fund the other the opposite, what I'm saying? They have been funding, African American studies, subsidizing this thing. I think that our channels should be subsidized, especially the ones that are teaching or bringing Aboriginal content to the community. Period.
I absolutely agree.
I think once we start getting in these pockets, you know what I'm saying, and we can spread the monies and the currency and the energy into the community the way it's supposed to be. They understand that that's all they had to do to stop the crime,
right?
But they didn't want to. So we need those reparations, and it's not a payback. You just gotta, we need those reparations, absolutely. And I think we need to demand them, and we need to put politicians in place also that work with us on this. We need politicians on our side.
Absolutely. And part of on drip, And House Resolution 331, it does state that they swore an oath, okay, to treat us, okay, from a government to government perspective, and their obligation, it's not a choice, it's an obligation that they assist us in our political systems, our social systems, our healthcare systems. But again, we are not stepping up as a unit. And I think that's what's missing. It's too much separation and too much division, too much chaos and confusion, because they are watching. They are watching. Okay, so I think that the more unity we have, it will not take a lot of us. However, there has to be some type of unification, okay? A body of people that could step up to represent the masses and put certain things in place. So I think that what we are doing is a great build, and I hope it won't be the last, because maybe the next one we have, we'll get Lex Vortex on here, and whoever guy else you guys think that could that has great energy and they're positive, then we could do that. I called Dane Calloway earlier, but he didn't pick up. I texted him and he didn't respond. So hopefully the next time we could have him on the panel and we all could have another build. But in closing, any last words that you guys want to talk about, or if we missed anything that you guys would like to talk about, Autochthonous One, I'm gonna give you a chance to. Chief, I see that your line is open. I'm gonna give you a chance to, if we missed anything that you want to throw in there, or any, if you want to conclude with your some thoughts, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on, man. And peace to Autochthonous One, man, and peace and love to all the American Aborigines, man. I say this, man. We definitely have to work on loving on each other better, man, and dealing with each other better. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say it's gonna be perfect. We're not gonna have disagreements, and we might even have blow-ups every once in a while. But I don't think that should separate the community.
Right.
Yeah, I think we need to work harder to love each other. That's the main thing, man. And build, man. I mean, we can't build if we have a lot of chaos going on. And that's the whole thing with this Peace Treaty Initiative is to push peace in our communities, in our homes, online, everywhere, man. And we're falling right into the same what's that? The world star culture. You know what I'm saying? We're happy to see the arguments. We're happy to see brothers and sisters tearing each other down. I don't like to see that. It doesn't make me feel good at all. You know what I'm saying? So peace and love to everybody, man. And hopefully nobody got offended, man. Hopefully this is a healing process.
No. I mean, the build was great, man. And I know somebody said that Dr. Claude Anderson talks about reparation, but for me, no disrespect to the brother, it's all talk, because he's doing it under the narrative of being black. Black people don't exist, so they cannot get reparations. So that's a dead end. That's just a waste of energy. Do you ever come to Virginia? I have been to Virginia, and like I said, wherever the ancestors need me to go and build and put in that work, that's where I always go. So I'm ready to make these moves. All right. Autochthonous One, any last thoughts, closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me come through. You know what I'm saying? If they telling you there's no Aborigines out there, I'm out there all the time. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere I go, no matter, any of my journeys, if I see any of my people, I definitely try to interact with them. For the ones that's, the ones that's trying to learn, or the ones that's interested, because most people I talk to, they be kind of interested in like, wow, I never thought of it like that, or whatever. So, we gotta definitely, and like I said, me personally, I'm not with none of the beef, because there's street beef out here. There's beef out here amongst real people who really hate people. So listen, we're doing something to where we should not be getting no flack. People should not be beefing with you or beefing with anyone if they handling their business. Right. I don't have time to make no videos about beefing with nobody, because I'm trying to find myself. I'm still learning. I don't have no time to keep living the same thing over and over and over again, having the same hate. You know what I'm saying? Bringing the same hormones out that's killing me every day. So if you teaching, if you're about teaching, teach. Right, don't teach about the hate or keep bringing the same arguments to the table every day. Like, I don't have no problem with no one. Even
Exactly.
like I told you, it's I mean I got word that people was conspiring to say, well, don't fuck with the Autochthonous. Come on, don't mess with the Autochthonous. I don't know why. The
Mhm.
Autochthonous one bringing this new information.
Right.
Watching this one, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, and even if I do ever move to another platform where I might ask for donations or whatever, I didn't put out video after video after video after video, which by
Right.
now people done stole a lot of my information. But guess
Right.
what? It's not my information. I'm just the vessel that it came through. And
True.
I'm just proud to just be even part of any of this in this journey to
Mm.
let people know where they came from
Right.
and just be able to be part of this. So with that being
Indeed.
said, I got no problems with anyone out there. If you got a problem with me, then maybe your agent. Shout out to the brother right here, Chief Kalinago. I appreciate your work. Definitely for having me here. You know, and shout out to the Aborigines, man. You know what I'm saying? But one
Indeed.
thing I'm not going to do is don't come to me telling me what I'm not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't did research on it, so I understand a lot of that. So with that
Right.
being said, I yield the mic and peace to the brothers. All right, peace to the
All
Aborigines.
right. Indeed. Indeed. So yeah, man. So in closing, I just want to say, hey, thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Jazzy, one love, feathers up. And what I think, we'll talk, off screen anyway. And but one of the things that I would personally love to implement is let us pick a state, or a territory, mainly one of the, the major cities, and let us really enforce that in the schools that they start implementing programs that teach our indigenous children. So we're going to pick one state and we're going to go hard until they change that. Then we're going to go to another territory and do that, because there is a lot of work to be done. And I think that all three of us, plus other brothers and sisters who are willing to come on board, to put those things and make sure that, it work, and we're not going to let up until they start changing it. I think that's a great way to go. So once again, I thank each and every one of you in terms of the people who are viewing online. Thank you for sharing your space and your energy with us. As you could tell, once again, this platform is always about positivity. Thanks to Autochthonous One, Chief Holiday. Oh, Autochthonous One, if the people want to contact you, do you have a channel or some information that you want to give before we go that they could reach out to you?
Yeah, you can always leave a message or comment under one of my videos, but if that's not good, you can contact me via email, and that's Chief Chief Autochthon Autochthon at AOL.com. And once again, that's Chief Autochthon at AOL.com.
And what's your YouTube? What's your YouTube?
My YouTube, I got two of them. I got one Autochthonous One News, and I got Autochthonous One. So Autochthonous One is my primary YouTube my YouTube channel, which I had it for about like maybe a little under 2 or 3 years or whatever. But nonetheless, though, it's up there. I believe I got some good content, and I'm not super myself up or nothing, but I definitely then did the research. So with that being said, my computer, this is crazy. So
All right.
like I said, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all the
Okay,
Aborigines,
thank
man.
you. All right, Chief Holiday, same. Do you have any information that you want to give the people? How can they hear from you, some more information from you for future reference? Do you have a YouTube, etc.?
Yeah, man. My YouTube channel is Chief Holiday. Um, y'all can check me out over there, and y'all can catch me on Monday nights on Vortex Media 2. I do the American Aborigine History Show over there, and then I build with the brother on Autochthonous One News and Autochthonous One. So we got content over there. And I'm a little direct, man, with the family, man. I'm open to build with the family. So I'm reachable. It's chiefholiday@gmail.com. And also you can call me 702-718-2013. That's 702-718-2013. We're looking for
Beautiful.
partnership, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to create jobs, and I'm looking for people that are down to form a strong marketing team, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
So holler at me, man, and let's get to work.
All right.
Peace,
Beautiful.
peace
Much
and love to the
respect.
family.
Peace and love. And so once again, man.
Also,
Yes, go ahead.
my bad. Also, I want to announce too the Great American, the 2018 Great American Powwow. being held out here in Las Vegas, October 6th, 7th, and 8th. You all are welcome. The site will be up next week to be able to register and things of that nature or whatever. Once you register, you'll be able to enter into a sweepstakes. You'll be able to win a trip for 2 out here, man. So yeah, so holler at me, man. 702.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, let me know when the information is up, and I'll help promote it. And yeah, man. So like I said, this is about building and moving forward. And as you know, for those of you who know my personality, we about the number is he gave it. So what you could do is you could go back and listen to the video and get the number again if you don't mind. But he's in Vegas, just so you know, because you did ask what state. All right, so this is about, like I said, my platform is about building. It's about positive energy. I really don't have time for negativity, and I'm going to continue to let my light shine and move forward with positive people and righteous people, because only that type of energy is going to get us where we got to go. You know what I mean? So with that being said, power and much love to all the American Aborigines, all indigenous peoples of the world. But I tell people that we have to take care of our home first. So let us build us. Self-preservation is number one. All right, he just put the number on the screen, 702-718-2013. All right, so we love you guys, and we do what we do because we love you. So thanks to my two brothers, Autochthonous One and Chief Holiday. I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for doing this. And let us not make it be the last. And I hope everybody enjoyed this build. Peace and love to each and every one of you guys. We out. All right, peace, brothers.
Peace.
All right.
Yeah, man, good build.
Thank you.
Peace, peace, peace.
Yeah. Also on the powwow thing. Like I said, I'm gonna be getting with you. Basically, just keeping it real simple, man. We're gonna be anybody that markets this, like say on your channel, anything like that, anybody that registers, you know what I'm saying, you'll be able to get paid off of that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
all right, beautiful.
I'm definitely opening this thing up to be, a community-based thing, man. So
all right, sounds good, brother.
Yeah, and I
I'm
definitely
down.
want you to come out and speak at the event, you know what I'm saying, and be a part of the whole process. So peace.
All right, sounds good. Looking forward to it, brother. Peace and love. All right. One. All right.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, Thompson, I'll let you know, man.
All right.
Peace, Chief.
Peace, brother.
All right.